straight from the underground. Living my life underneath the ground. Digging underground. Living my life underneath the ground. Living my life underneath the ground. Living my life underneath the ground. I'm blowing up like you thought I would.
Hey everybody, I'm Randy Silvas.
And I'm Tony Malik.
Welcome to Slot Rods and welcome to the final round of our Underground Wintertime Points Chase.
Here on our final night of competition, it will be 6 points for crossing start, 7 points for cross and finish, 10 points for a win, and of course 0 points for any disqualifications.
That gives each driver a potential 23 points per round or 69 possible points for the entire evening.
That leaves great potential for people to move up the list who were stuck at the bottom or even in the middle of the list.
This is the third and final night of a race that's been going on for 3 months. And here are your totals from night 2.
Slick Trick and Scorpion have dropped off the list.
And SOB suffered a catastrophic crash during test and tune, and also had to drop out of the race.
And as you can see, Banshee, Mach 5, and Tazinator are our 3 undefeated cars in our 2024 Underground.
Round 1, we have 22 cars, 11 races, and the Mach 5 drew the bye for the 23 points and the free ride to round 2.
Race 1, round 1, we have Mini-Me versus Grape Gas.
Rolling. Camera 2. Rolling. Camera 3. Rolling. Yep.
And Grape Gas jumps out of the slot and runs into the right guardrail.
That gives Grape Gas 6 points for crossing start and Mini-Me the big 23.
Up next, Brian Kane in SOT versus me in the GT.
Rolling. Camera 2. Camera 3. Driver. Ready.
And the GT spins a gear. And that gives SOT 23 points and the GT 6.
Race number 3 pits Blue Bayou against the Mad Bird.
And the Mad Bird does what the Mad Bird does.
And what the Mad Bird does is give us exciting footage to use in our intro sequence every year.
The Mad Bird crossed center and hit Blue Bayou in his passenger door, knocking him out of the slot and sending him riding the rail for the rest of the 8th mile.
Well, the Mad Bird managed to avoid going end over end and ends up perpendicular to the racetrack.
And the Mad Bird is disqualified for crossing center and gets 0 points.
And Blue Bayou came out of the slot, but he managed to stay in his own lane and cross-finish for the win and the 23 points.
Race number 4, Hall & Oates versus Tyrant.
Camera 3. Here. Rolling. Driver. Ready.
Yeah, Tyrant beat Hall & Oates off the line like he owed him money.
And Hall & Oates tried to run him down for the cash, but he just couldn't catch him. That gives Tyrant 23 points and Hall & Oates 13.
Race number 5 gives us Killer Nova versus Scare Marrow.
Drivers. Yep.
Looks like Scaramaro got off first.
And Killer Nova could not run him down,
Giving Scaramaro 23 points and Killer Nova 13.
Up next, the undefeated Banshee versus Bat 2.
Rolling.
Camera 2. Camera 3. Drivers.
And Bat 2 jumps. Worst part is Banshee spun a gear and would have lost that race if you wouldn't have jumped.
It wasn't even close. I must have got happy thumbs. Banshee remains undefeated, and Bat 2 takes the goose egg. Now we got Jangalang versus that Dark Phoenix.
Something must have happened to Jangalang because Dark Phoenix took him by a school bus.
Giving Dark Phoenix 23 and Jangalang 13.
Race 8, we got Orange Crush versus the Spirit of 57.
Rolling. Is that 40 away?
No, it's good. It's all the way.
Camera 3. Drivers.
Yeah. Ready.
And the Orange Crush spins a gear.
Jake called it.
And that leaves my slow 57 for the win with 23 points, and Orange Crush gets 6 for crossing start.
Race 9 is Judas versus that Chop 32 Ford called Cherry Pie.
That is a pretty car.
Rolling.
Yeah, pretty slow, and I'll be damned if I can figure out why.
Ready.
That gives Judas his first 23 points for the night, and Cherry Pie has his first 13.
Up next, the Harry Olds versus Ghost.
Camera 3.
Drivers ready? Yes.
Yes.
Now that's a drag race.
Oh my, I'm not even sure about that race's slow motion. Let's look at it in slower motion.
Okay, here it is, closer and slower.
Ooh, Ghost got him.
Yeah, and just by the tip of his nose.
Giving the Ghost a well-earned 23 points, and the Harry Olds a disappointing 13.
Up next, the Tazinator versus
Alley Cat.
At the beginning of the night, before we even got a chance to race, Tazinator broke a motor mount and we had to zip tie the motor into place so we could even get to the starting line.
them some pretty good zip ties.
Well, let's not get too comfortable yet. There's still 2 rounds. But for now, the Tazinator's still undefeated.
Giving Tazinator his first 23 points for the night, and Alley Cat 13.
Alley Cat.
And the Mach 5 got his 23 points for drawing the bye.
Man, when the Mach 5 drew the bye, I about went over like a fart in church.
Yes, the masses were not pleased.
Round 2, race 1, Judas versus Bat 2.
And that was another close one. You were ahead at camera 2.
But by camera 3, he was about a car and a half out in front of me. I think I geared that Corvette for 660 instead of an 1/8 mile.
Giving Judas 23 points and Tony 13 more than he had in the first round.
Up next, Annette Kane and Mini Me versus Randy Silvis in his GT. Ooh, Randy, you beat Mini Me off the line.
I was still hanging on at camera 2.
And you barely held her off to get the win, giving GT 23 points and Mini Me 13.
Up next, we got Grape Gas versus Tyrant. And Tyrant's putting on a clinic tonight. And Grape Gas couldn't finish his first race. This might be over before it starts. Oh, he didn't have trouble this time. Grape Gas is out by about a half a car.
The Tyrant was closing in on me by camera 2.
Oh man, that was close. Let's take a better look at that. He got you by inches. If you'd had a bumper on that car, you might have won that race.
That gives Tyrant 23 and Grape Gas 13.
Race 4, the Tazinator versus Scare Marrow. Let's see if that zip tie has another run in it.
Nope, damn it came loose. I knew that zip tie wasn't going to take long, but I thought I'd get more than one run out of it.
And the first of our undefeated cars takes its first loss.
I'm going to have to get that motor strapped down to win one more race.
Scare Marrow takes his second win of the night, and Tazinator takes his first loss.
Up next, the battle of the Chevy 2s, Killer Nova versus the Orange Crush.
Camera 2. Camera 3.
Orange Crush is out by a half car. Oh, something went wrong on the big end.
And Orange Crush comes out of the groove, smacks the guardrail, and comes across the finish line sideways for the win.
Giving Orange Crush 23 and Killer Nova his second loss of the night.
Race number 6, the undefeated Banshee versus the all-heart Spirit of 57.
Oh Lord, it has to come to this?
Well, it didn't help you were sleeping at the line.
And Banshee takes it by a freight train and remains undefeated.
Up next, the Harry Olds versus Blue Bayou.
Rolling.
And Brian was sleeping on the line, and you can tell he knew it.
Well, that's one way of staying out of trouble with the wife.
That gives Harry Olds 23 and Blue Bayou 13.
Up next, SOT versus Hall & Oates.
One is rolling.
SOT gets a hit.
But Hall & Oates steals it at the finish line.
SOT gets his first loss of the night, and Hall & Oates his first win. Race number 9, we got the undefeated Mach 5
Rolling.
versus Mark Rendos's wheelies called Ghost. Ooh, and that would have been a much closer race if Ghost didn't cross center.
Looks like he had already crossed by camera 2.
That disqualifies Ghost for 0 points, and the Mach 5 managed to hold on to his undefeated status along with Banshee.
Race 10, Jang Lang versus Cherry Pie. Man, I can't get that Ford to get out of its own way. I've done everything short of an exorcism.
Jangalang gets his first win of the night, and Cherry Pie his second loss.
And this brings us to the last race of round 2. Dark Phoenix versus the Mad Bird.
Well, he might not have won, but Mad Bird made an A to B pass, and that's something.
Giving the Dark Phoenix his second win of the night, and Mad Bird 13 more points than he had in the first round.
And Alley Cat takes her 23 points for drawing the bye.
Alley Cat.
And that brings us to the final round of this whole damn shooting match. And we're kicking it off with Alley Cat versus Grape Gas.
Alley Cat.
Grape Gas makes a good pass and takes the first 23 points from the final round.
Up next, Hall & Oates versus Tyrant.
This should be a close one.
Okay, camera 1. Camera 2. Camera 3. Drivers.
They were neck and neck at camera 2.
All notes barely gaps him and gets 2 out of 3 for the evening. And Tyrant takes his first loss of the night.
Up next, we have the Ghost versus Judas.
Rolling.
And Ghost makes his first serious pass of the night, and Judas just couldn't catch up to him.
Ghost goes 2 for 3 for the evening, but he had that goose egg in round 2. Judas gets his first loss of the evening, and he goes 2 for 3.
Rolling.
Race number 4, Harry Olds versus the Killer Nova.
And Harry Olds has a serious advantage in this race.
And Harry did not disappoint. He spanked Killer Nova.
Harry Olds goes 2 for 3 for the night, and Killer Nova takes straight 13s.
The legacy of that OG slot rod is in serious jeopardy. Come on, Brian. You can't let her go out like that.
Up next, 2 more cars from the 412. Brian and Annette cannot stay away from each other. Blue Bayou versus Jangalang.
And Blue Bayou does not disappoint with a decisive win over Jangalang.
Giving Blue Bayou 2 for 3 for the night, and Jangalang 1 for 3.
Up next, Mad Bird versus My Spirit of 57.
This is literally anybody's race.
And the Mad Bird gets himself one, and the 57's going back to the drawing board.
Giving the Spirit of 57 and Mad Bird 1 apiece for the evening.
Race number 7, surprise, surprise, surprise. Brian and Annette Kane square off once again with SOT versus Mini-Me.
Annette got out first and managed to stretch that Pro Mod out to a 2-car gap.
Giving SOT 1 win for the evening, and Mini-Me 2 for 3.
Race number 8 gives us Bat 2 versus Orange Crush. It's you and me, Randy.
Drivers?
Yep.
You got nothing. Take that. Bat 2 takes it by half a car, giving Bat 2 his first win of the night and Orange Crush his second loss.
Our next race, Dark Phoenix versus, from the great state of Florida, the ailing Tazinator.
Come on, baby, just hold on for one more race.
Come on, zip tie.
Say the magic words. Booga, booga, booga. Oh, that was a good pass, but I think the gears were just a little too tight.
You were so busy trying to keep it from coming apart, you put them too close.
Sorry about that, brother, but Taz will still be in the top 10.
Hey, that's not bad for a car that couldn't win a race about a year and a half ago.
Well, the Gardner Racing team's starting to come along, but for the level 1 motor mount, that could have been a top 3 or 4 car.
Race number 10, rounding third and headed for home, the undefeated Banshee.
Oh, versus Cherry Pie.
Oh, God, I can't even watch this execution.
Don't even look. Oh, Cherry Pie doesn't even make it to the 300-foot mark.
But Banshee made a screaming pass.
And that brings us to the last race of the last round of this 3-month competition.
The Mach 5 versus Scare Marrow.
Come on, Speed, we need one more race.
The Mach 5 makes his fastest pass of the night and remains undefeated. And my little GT gets 23 points for drawing the bye in the last round.
And here are your final scores for the competition.
And here are your scores in order.
So that brings us to the tiebreaker round. And just to keep it interesting, we'll keep the battle for first and second place for dead last.
So first, we're going to take care of the three-way tie for 7th place. Scaramaro, GT, and Blue Bayou drew straws, and Blue Bayou will be racing Scaramaro for 7th. And the loser will race GT for 8th and 9th.
Up first, Blue Bayou versus Scaramaro.
Blue Bayou takes 7th place clean, and that leaves Scaramaro to race GT for 8th and 9th. And GT makes her best pass she made for me all day.
That settles 7th, 8th, and 9th. And we have a tie at 10th, Tyrant and Mini-Me. And the winner will be the only top 10 car with a double-digit score.
Rolling.
Camera 2. Rolling. Camera 3. Driver.
From the signs of a net, I don't think it was Mini-Me.
Oh, Tyrant took it by half a car. Next up is Orange Crush and SOT for the 13th and 14th spot.
Camera 3. Yep.
Did you lose power?
Yes, then got all squirrely on me, and that knocked my braids out of line, and then I lost power for a second.
Yeah, there ain't no catching SOT after that.
Next up, a race for 21st and 22nd between Grape Gas and Judas.
Rolling.
Ready.
That gives Judas the 20th and Grape Gas the 21st spot.
When we were scoring the race, a couple of small mathematical errors were made, and we were able to correct them while we were editing. And the only tiebreaker it had any effect on was it created a tie between Tazinator and Harry Olds for the 5th and 6th spots. We'll have them race off at the beginning of our next race day for the Experimental Pro Mod division.
That brings us to our championship race between our two only undefeated cars in the underground. Banshee and the Mach 5 both have 132 points.
Banshee is a Pontiac concept car from Team Motown.
And this Mach 5 tribute car is owned and operated by Tony Mullet. Here we go, folks. Hold on to your britches. Mach 5 got the early lead.
Rolling.
That looks like the bewilderment of victory and the agony of defeat. What was that look on your face for?
That astonished look on my face is because I couldn't believe I just beat Banshee.
Well, you almost didn't. There was less than half a car left when you hit the finish line.
And that gives us as finished a leaderboard as we can make right now.
The Mach 5 is our only undefeated car in the series and took first place.
Dark Phoenix is in sole possession of 3rd and Hall & Oates in 4th.
The Tazinator and the Harry Olds are tied at 5th place, and we'll be determining their position at our next Pro Mod race day.
Blue Bayou comes in at 7th, GT at 8th, Scaramaro at 9th, and Tyrant rounding out the top 10.
Mini-Me, Tyrant, Ghost, SOT, and Orange Crush all came within one win from ending up in the top 10.
And everybody from 15 down to 23, it's time to go back to the drawing board and test.
Now let's go to the winner's circle for the trophy presentation.
It is my pleasure to give the trophy to Tony Mullick and the Mach 5 for the 2024 Underground Championship.
Woo! And here's what that beautiful trophy looks like up close. And here's our 2024 Experimental Pro Mod Division Top 10 list.
Nah, sort of. Once we get 5th and 6th straightened out.
Well, what's going to be coming up next for Slot Rods?
Well, first we have a new episode of Back to the Streets coming out. And then we're going to have our Season 4 finale with our semi-annual Jump the Delta Gorge race.
That will be the most spectacular jump race we had yet.
If everything goes as planned, it will be something no one will ever forget.
Does that mean we're going to have to wait till Season 5 to find out who has the 5th and 6th spot in the EPM Top 10?
Looks that way.
Only on Slot Rods.
And no place else. So, till next time, everybody, I'm Tony Mach,
And I'm Randy Silvas.
and thank you for watching Slot Rods.
Now that's a drag race.